Hey Thrivers, you're listening to episode 23. Today we're chatting with Carmen Hoffert, the founder of the Lancaster chapter of Rebelle Community. Carmen is a mom and has a passion for helping women get connected. She's here today to share her heart with us and a sneak peek of what Rebelle Community will look like this fall. We're also chatting our favorite podcasts, influencers, and real housewives. So be sure to keep listening.
Welcome to The Thrive, a podcast for working moms. This is for all the women and moms listening. If you work from home, in an office, run your own business, or are the CEO of your family, this podcast is for you. Because at the end of the day, all moms are working moms. Rachel and Christine invite you to celebrate the victories, get advice, listen to their mom fails, and to know you aren't alone, to thrive in your everyday life.
Hey Thrivers, this is Rachel
and Christine.
We are so excited to have with us a guest who is launching something so exciting here in Lancaster. We're going to be talking all today about Rebelle Community with Carmen Hoffert.
Hi. Thanks for joining us.
Gosh, it's so fun.
I feel like we should have special music here because you're launching something new, like on the news. When they're like, you hear it first.
Drum roll.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into Rebelle.
Sure.
And some of our followers, you might have already heard of Rebelle Community because what's the annual conference is Rebelle Con.
Correct. Yeah, in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, so if you already follow, well then you'll want to stay tuned to learn all about Rebelle coming to Lancaster. But first we want to get to know Carmen.
Oh, yeah. So my name is Carmen, and I'm from this area. I grew up here. So I grew up at Manheim Central, and I moved away for a little bit, went to Temple University, lived in Philly for a stint, met my husband, and now I'm back. So,
Nice.
But I've been back for a while. I have a kid and everything. So
Was he from this area also?
No, he's from Allentown, Lehigh
Okay.
Valley area, but he was in Philly when we met.
Okay.
We both were in Philly. We were in the same friend group.
Gotcha.
So after the hubbub in Philly, you said, let's go back to Lancaster.
Yeah, because my family's here. So we lived there for a little while, but the end goal was to get back here to be closer to my family. All my sisters at that time, well, and still do have babies, and I wanted to be part of my nieces and nephews' lives.
Absolutely.
So that was really important.
What did you study at school?
Communications, strategic communications, advertising, marketing, the good stuff.
I did the same. I was a comm major, and so some people would be like, "What's that?
Yeah.
What do you do?"
A lot.
Yeah, do whatever. I do it all. Like every job you have, you need to communicate, right?
It's true. You do.
So you came back to the area to be with family, to be
Yeah.
with babies, and I know you have a baby of your own. So tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, so my husband and I have a little girl named Ren. She's 4, gonna be 30 really soon. But she's amazing. And I think 4 is a hard age. Like she is, I'm always telling myself and others, I'm raising a leader because she's found her voice and she uses it and she's good. She's a little sass.
4, I would agree. At least for us, I feel like there were terrible 2s with our oldest. Like 2, it's like they're just getting into everything.
Yeah.
Like she was just always getting into stuff, but you can't quite discipline the way you do when they're older. But now 4, it's like 3 wasn't as bad, and now 4, it's like found the voice.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but we get a lot of complaining at 4 that we did not used to have at 3.
Yeah.
Like at 4, it's like whining and complaining about everything. They know what they like, and now she knows what she doesn't like. And like road trips, like, are we there yet?
You guys need to get on the same page as them. That's all.
I know, you're right. I know. I agree with you. I remember when we hit 2, not a big deal. 3, I was ready to start a parenting blog on how amazing I am because clearly I had it all down. And then 4, I abandoned that idea. So, no, I'm kidding when I say that. But she found her voice and wants to do her thing, and she kind of knows what that looks like, and she can articulate it really well. So
It's good, and I'm sure stressful all at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. I love being a mom.
And I feel like, every new stage that happens in my household, my girls are younger, but it is just a reminder of how important it is to have other moms and women in your life, and even listening to podcasts where people are empathizing with you because if it's just you in a bubble, you feel like either you're the best mom and you need to be taken down. Sometimes I think like, oh, I have it all figured out, but no, you don't. Or that you aren't doing something wrong. It's just the season you're in and you just kind of have to like ride the wave. And when you hear others speaking of that, even for me to be like, okay, this is what's coming and that's okay.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the same is true like when you first get married. Like for me, like I was just like, I thought this was going to be like a fairy tale, you know, like the wedding. And then like we were having all these arguments and disagreements. Like we didn't live together before we got married. You know, I moved in and there was a lot of changes. And like that was where I became a lot closer to my sisters because we were sort of the first in our friend group to get married. So my sisters were both married for a handful of years by that time, and I closely relied on them to be like, is this normal?
Yeah,
like, why are we having these arguments? They'd be like, well, like, maybe you need to try to see his side. And like, well,
no.
You're like, what's his side?
Right?
What's
But
that
it's
mean?
that whole idea of community. Like, you know, people that are also going through it. And even they would say, you know, has he had time with his guy friends? Like, is he connecting with any other guys that are married? Or is he still hanging out with all his single friends? Because they're probably telling him different things than what, like, married dudes would be telling him.
Yeah.
Because they just don't get it yet. So I think the same is definitely true with parenting. And if you're a new mom listening, hopefully you'll find this a safe space for us to share our mom fails and hopefully let you know that you're not just going through it on your own. And if you're having a bad day, I have a girlfriend who just had a baby and she's been having some of those days where she's like, I feel guilty, but like, I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is normal.
It is. And you need people to tell you in the midst of it, it's normal. Because when you're in something stressful, whether it be business, marriage, mom life, it can feel all consuming.
I just remember, it might have even been last week. It was after dinner. I'm sitting on the couch like, just trying to take a minute because everybody else was in the other room. And then slowly but surely, everybody else came in and was asking me for something at once. And I actually looked at them and I said, does everybody really need me? All of you right now? I mean, really? You can like, you think that sometimes. You just look around and you're like, oh my gosh, I need a mommy timeout.
Right. So as much as your 4-year-olds are becoming independent and, I can do this, but then they also are needing so much of your time, which is just that age. But you're trying to build the independence and then free yourself up for things.
Yes.
You're right.
And it really is just a phase. And sometimes I think you just have to laugh about it. The other night there was a big thunderstorm. And our children do not like thunderstorms. Usually our 2-year-old sleeps through things. But our oldest, her big sister who's on the top bunk, woke up and like came into our room. And for a thunderstorm, I'm like, okay, like I get it. But right now, like obviously my husband and I are in our bed. We still have Robbie, like the baby is still in our room. Even though he sleeps through the night, like I could put him in his crib. I don't know. I just like having him close by, I guess. Christine's like giving me the look like, you can do it, Rachel. Rip off the Band-Aid.
Whatever you're good with. I kicked my newborn out after 2 weeks. So
guilty.
You do you.
I just can't.
It's okay.
But then we have the dog in our room too, who like sleeps under the bassinet. So it's already like 4 of us. And then my oldest daughter like came tiptoeing over and she's in our bed. And then, because she woke up her younger sister, like, she tiptoes over.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, I feel like the book, like, do your kids have that book, like, The Napping House, where, like, everyone's, like, piled on top of each other? Sometimes imagine. That's how I feel, like, our bed is, like, 5 people in it, you know, because then, like, the baby woke up, I had to nurse him, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
So, talk about needing your own space.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll go in your guys' bed. I'll stay here.
Top Sunday, here we go.
Morning. So, obviously, mom life is a juggle. Whether you, Carmen, I know you have 1 child and Rachel has 3. No matter what, you feel the stress, you feel all the things. So let's dive into all the things that you're juggling with your business. Tell us a little bit about the Rebelle. Did I say that right?
Yes, Rebelle.
Rebelle Community.
Let's talk about Rebelle Community.
Rebelle's awesome. So everything that we're talking about here is basically what we're going to be talking about at Rebelle. It's a great place where women, all types of women, whether you're a mom, not a mom, in the work field, not own your own business, whatever you do, it's not your typical networking group. It's a safe place where we can come together and talk about issues like cultivating confidence or how we can empower ourselves and therefore empower others, empower our families. How do we live our bliss? How do we live authentically? I had a really beautiful opportunity to talk to a great friend and mentor of mine, and she is an executive at a law firm. She's actually going to be speaking at one of the panels. And she said to me, I don't want another group I'm part of a lot of beautiful networking groups, but I really want to learn how to be mindful. How do I figure out how to be mindful in my daily life? What are other women doing? How do I implement that into my own life?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what we need to do is just share our stories. So what might work for you, Rachel, might not work for me, but it might work for my sister, so I'm going to pass it on to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe something else will come up that for me that does work. Or, it's just a way that we can kind of level the playing field, remove the competition, replace it with connection, and realize that we are way more alike than we are different. And that is what Rebelle is all about. I'm trying to figure out a way where we can connect women, bring everyone together, and just love on each other.
Yeah. And it's not just here in Lancaster, right?
Correct.
This is a larger community.
Yes, it's super cool. So the founder is Shannon Siriano Greenwood. We have a really special story. So she and I went to Temple University together. We met freshman orientation. Wait, was it freshman orientation? Shannon will be listening to this later.
And she'll let you know if it wasn't freshman orientation, but early on.
It's like when your
met,
husband, gets your anniversary date wrong or something.
Yes.
How dare you mess that up?
Either way, we met freshman year, and we figured out really early on that we worked really well together. So all 4 years we lived together. And we also learned that we have, and she put this really beautifully into words just sometime later, and she said, as adults now, we realized that we were living parallel lives, but not the same. Like, our stories are so similar, but they're not the same. And so we lived together all 4 years, had a lot of really great experiences, as we all know, being roommates, the highs and the lows, the ups and downs. And then afterwards, we kept in touch and, just sort of figured out what this is all about. And what I didn't realize at the time, as a couple years ago, I would say, I really felt a call or need to start something in Lancaster that would bring women together. And so I was kind of iterating on what that might look like, going back and forth on that, and was really wrapped up in a lot of my own fear around it. So, and then I talked to Shannon. She's like, well, I'm doing this. This is really amazing. She had created the conference in Richmond, and was a beautiful, beautiful conference where you could walk into the room and you just felt the heartbeat of the women. It was really incredible. And what she found was that between the conferences, women still wanted to connect. So instead of having this lag time between the next one. So from that, the community was born. And so when I went to the conference, I said, this is amazing. What are we doing? And we talked, and she's like, let's bring it to Lancaster. So this is actually the first chapter of Rebelle is starting here. And from this launch, and after we get this working and running, then we'll be able to bring it to other cities and connect women, everywhere. Sky's the limit.
This really does call for fanfare music.
Right.
Because this is huge. Aww. I love it. And I can empathize with...
I can see in your eyes that you're loving it.
Well, I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. Okay. Any new thing, I'm like, this is beautiful. But I can appreciate that because working in the professional world as a teacher for so many years, but now seeing this business world that I'm also in, and how I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for entrepreneur women to get together and be filled up in what they're doing. But when you're in the corporate world or working a 9 to 5, I feel like it's not as much for some women, just because they go to their jobs and they come home to their families. But I've seen such a benefit to myself with getting together with other business women that has filled me up just personally. Yeah. And so hearing that it's for all women.
All women.
I love that because, that's what we started talking about was community.
Yeah, I like that too because I have girlfriends that I know they want something more. Like we have a mom's group at church and it's great. It's a time of fellowship and you great breakfast and maybe a good speaker. But there's something about getting your husband to watch the kids and going somewhere for an evening to connect with other women that, whether it's business or whatever, just like you were saying, whether it's life and just kids, or maybe you don't have kids yet, but maybe you're new to the area and you need a group to connect with. There's something really special about that. And I have some girlfriends that I want to tell about this. Like, I want them to hear that, you know, I have some friends that will ask me like, oh yeah, you have your mastermind. And like, sometimes I think they see me going to all these different networking things, and it's a lot. And I feel like at this point, it's like, I want to be selective about like where I'm spending my time. But I love the idea of being able to invite a friend that might be struggling or needing to connect and saying, hey, this is a group that isn't just a business group, but I'm going to go tonight. You want to come? Yeah. And I think that's really special.
Yeah. And it's neat to hear you say that, because I've had the opportunity to meet with a lot of women in Lancaster to explain what Rebelle is. And one of the gals I was talking to two gals at the same time, and one of them stopped me and said, I'm just an assistant, but is there a space for me? And I said, oh my gosh, like there's a space for everybody. Like it doesn't matter if you're a business owner. It doesn't matter if you're an exec. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom. We are all the CEOs of our own lives. And Rebelle is all about helping and supporting one another to redesign what our lives should look like, what we want them to look like.
Yeah. I feel like I need to say too, you mentioned like just an assistant. I was an executive assistant for a short period of time. There is no such thing as just an assistant.
Yeah.
I felt like I was running that company because my boss could not do his job without me. Like,
absolutely.
He did not even know his schedule.
No.
Like, and it wasn't just like getting coffee. Like,
I
I'm
agree.
pretty sure I told him like in my first week, like, I didn't go to school to get coffee.
Yeah.
I might have been a little sassy, and I think I actually said something along those lines. And he never asked me again.
Good.
Which was great. And it wasn't even good coffee, I must say. It was like the instant crap that you just like pour in your cup and stir around. I was like, you can do this on your own. If this is what you want to drink, if this is what you're going to put into your body, do it yourself.
No. Right. You're like, I'm out.
Yes.
But I
just
think that's
assistance, no matter what you are, like, your job matters.
But your job matters, and it also doesn't. And I think that
that's true. It doesn't define
what I mean?
you.
It doesn't define you. I have a speaker who's going to be speaking at launch, and she's like, I don't even know what to put for my. She's a new mom. And she's like, I don't even know what to put for my. I hope she doesn't mind me telling the story, but she said, I don't know what to put for my title. I'm quoting that because she's like, I'm more than my title. And I said, girl, you are more than your title. We all are. You know, you don't even have to have a title. So that's what we're trying to really put out there, is the energy of we are all enough, and we are all more than a business title, or we're more than mom, we're more than wife. You know, but we're all of those things at once too. It's just really cool.
Oh, I like that.
I'm sure all of our listeners are on the edge of their seats, because I feel like this is such an important thing to bring to our listeners, and maybe for a lot of them something new, the idea that this is something that I feel like our hearts long for, is to be known and recognized and seen, no matter where you are in your journey or whatever your place may be. How do women get involved with this, and how can they be a part of it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my Instagram has the launch information. It's going to be on September 19th from 6 to 8:30. And actually, Emily Hess, who is an Inspire girl, she has opened her home. So Luca Creative is Emily's baby, and it's an all-female creative design agency. And so we're going to be hosting the first event there. Spaces are limited, just because spaces will always be limited. We want to make sure that we're creating a really safe place and that we can like hold that space. So we don't want it to be like 400 people. You know, it's always going to be intimate and feel intimate. So registration is required, but you can find that on rebellecon.com. And you can also find it on my Instagram.
That's awesome. What's your Instagram?
C. Hoffert. Oh boy, do I not know my own Instagram?
Well, we'll share it if you. I just got a new phone and had to log into all of my apps, and it asks me, what's your login? What's your name? And I'm like, oh, I have no idea. Usually Apple, you just put it in there for me. But we'll share all the things after and in our show notes so you can get connected.
So tell us too. I love that you've given us an idea of what it might look like. It's going to be an intimate evening. Yeah. Is it something where there are speakers? You said something about a panel. So like, what does an event look like? And it's like a monthly thing?
Yeah, I love you. Great question. So yes. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating monthly events, and the idea behind that is that we want to have shared experiences. So it's one thing to get together and have a picnic. That's great. We will be having, mixers and mingles, and that's fantastic. But to have something that we can connect over. So every month it'll be a speaker panel, a workshop, or a mix and mingle. And we'll be covering a range of topics in each month. So the workshops, I think I mentioned, Julie Purcell, she is the founder of Womankind Project. Do you know her? You should interview her.
Yes.
She's
actually,
amazing.
I've met her a couple times, and sometimes she works here.
Yes.
She'll come here and work.
She's amazing. So she's going to be doing a workshop on it's called Empower Hour, and how to empower ourselves. So that's a workshop, and then we have speaker panels, and Tara McMullen is going to be hosting a speaker panel. It's just cool. It's really cool. I think I said this to Rhonda. It's really been so special to see how many women are, as you said too, thirsty for this. Like, we just are longing for connection. Mm-hmm. And so that is the hope, that we can bring this to people through, really exciting topics, mm-hmm. and then also connection with it.
Yeah. This is kind of a random side note, but I just feel like before we started here, you just kind of asked us, like, oh yeah, how old are you guys? And like, we're all in that same peer group.
We are.
But I really do feel like there is something special that happens, like, once you hit your, like, late 20s, mm-hmm. early 30s. Like, a lot of the drama, a lot of, like, the comparison that was in high school and some in college, it's gone. And just the other week, I was talking to a girlfriend who, we were talking about this mom's group. We're part of at church, and it's coming up. And she mentioned that her first year when she signed up, she got there, and there was a girl at her table. We go to a big church. It's like one of the mega churches, so a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And the girl at her table was somebody that she recognized from high school, and recognized this person from high school as somebody that wasn't, like, mean to her, but, like, oh my gosh, she was one of, like, the popular girls. Like, we never talked. This is going to be awkward. She was in her 20s, like, late 20s, and she's still having these feelings. Yeah. And then she made the comment that they are now very close friends. Yeah. And, like, she feels silly that she felt like that. Like, things had obviously changed. They realized they had kids the same age, and, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, like, mom confidence. Like, once you've got kids, you just care a little bit less about certain things. Or if it's just, in your career at this point, like, once you are just out of that school type of environment. I don't know.
I love that you're saying this.
Just something cool about at this age. I don't care what you're wearing.
Your focus shifts.
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
I'm not trying to be a cool girl. I just want to be myself.
That's why I wear
people that, like, lift me up.
I wear my Adidas sandals because they're comfortable.
They're my
girl. I have Adidas sandals too.
Not because
don't
they're
even
cool.
Worry.
No, because they're from Costco.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you just have, like, the little bubble thing on the bottoms? Because they always hurt my feet.
No. They're
you gotta break those in.
Yeah, they're just like a solid. I was going to wear them today, but I didn't. Old Navy.
Did I make you feel self-conscious?
No, I love that you pointed it out, and I love that my husband has the same pair.
Yes, me too.
No worries. But anyway, you were talking about something bigger.
Well, I wanted to say that
how,
to
like,
that point,
I feel like there's something, like, to this point, like, whether you're a younger 20s, you're starting a career, you need a community, or, like, you're more like our age and a little more mature in the 30s. I just turned 30.
Yeah, right.
I'm, like, almost 40, so
but she feels like she's in our class.
Yeah.
No, stop it. I guess my whole point is that, like, I don't know, but I feel like there is something special about these type of groups where it's like, we don't care how old you are, how young you are, like. I really enjoy that you said, the comparison is gone. Yes. It's all about community. Because I feel like, isn't that what we all need? And, like, I wish I had found that sooner. Like, I wish that I saw more of that when I was in my college years instead of being, like, so concerned about
But you couldn't have been there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lifetime of experiences. Yeah. I mean, I say lifetime, you're only, you're still a baby yourself. But it's cool because we couldn't have been there when we were in college. We just didn't know. And I had this conversation with a good friend because in bringing Rebelle here, you can get in your head about stuff. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, who am I to bring this? Who am I to do this? Like, we go through the imposter syndrome in our head. And I'm like, I certainly wasn't a nice person all the time. In fact, probably last week I talked meanly about my sister or whatever. We're not all perfect. There's that part of it. And then, so it's being able to say to yourself and then to other people, I'm a work in progress. But I want a community of women who is also a work in progress, who can be like, oh man, you were having a day yesterday and let's talk about that, because I know that's not who you are at your core. So kind of going back to what you said, it's like when we were in college, we didn't have that. We didn't have those tools in our toolkit yet. And now that we're older, we certainly do. And I think that hearing from all generations is going to be really, really great to hear the stories from the young 20-year-olds to, the folks who are retired in a completely new chapter in their life.
Yeah.
But we learn from everyone.
That's so true.
I just redid my letterboard in my home. I was trying to find something really kitschy to put on it, and all that kept coming to my head was grace upon grace, and that's what it says now, and that's exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
And maybe that's why things shift when we're older and when we have careers or families and husbands, that we need to have grace with others and ourselves, because there's no other option. Either we're going to be in a bad mood all the time, or we offer grace, and it's something that's so needed. And once you are able to step into that, there's so much growth and freedom from that. And I love that. I feel like so many of our guests this season on the podcast have really just been hitting that home with, just a different perspective on life, which is so needed.
And I don't know if you guys are Dave Matthews Band fans, but he has this beautiful song, and I was listening to it last night, and I forget the name, but one of the lyrics in it is, when you give, you start to live. And I think that kind of goes along with that.
So true. I'm going to have to tell my friend Nate to listen to this now. Nate Akers, shout out. He's the biggest Dave Matthews fan.
I love Dave.
He will drive hours. I think he's been to more concerts than I've been to any combined.
Good for him.
My brother listened to them, so I'm like, oh, I'm cool like him. Well, I'll always be a younger sister, but it's good music.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. I cannot wait to just start again and ask you all the questions about mom life. We're going to be sharing favorites to maybe some of the podcasts and the people that inspire you, and things that inspire us. So we will be right back. Hey Thrivers! Today's episode is sponsored by Rachel Klein Marketing and Creative. That's right, that's my own personal business. If you've listened to the show, you've probably heard me talk about mom life and business a lot, but you might not know what I actually do. Well, since 2014, I've been designing websites and offering social media marketing services for small businesses. I work with companies here in PA and across the United States, and it's my goal to help small business owners grow their online presence with social media, SEO, and responsive website design. If you've been considering a new website in 2019, I want to personally invite you to schedule a consultation with me to review your existing website and receive a quote for a new mobile-friendly website that will highlight your skills and your services. You can find all the details at rachelkleincreative.com or email me at rachelkleincreative@gmail.com. Simply mention the Thrive Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. We are chatting with Carmen Hoffert, who's bringing Rebelle Community here to Lancaster, and she's been sharing with us just the heart and soul of this organization and how you can get involved. So we want to change topics a little bit. Carmen has shared with us that she is a mom herself. She has a 4-year-old, and she's doing a lot. We are all juggling a lot. So how do you manage? What is a typical week for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's the mom hustle, right? So what is a typical week? I don't even know. So I don't necessarily, I know we all sort of buy into this idea of balance, and we're all striving for balance. I don't know if I buy into it. I think that having a routine in the morning for me is really great, like a practice in mindfulness. And then just figuring it out as you go, right? Just sort of figuring out, if I'm present, then I can, hopefully bring some sort of balance to that moment. But there's going to be days where it's really amazing, and then there are going to be days where I'm like, oh, I'll do better tomorrow. But I think also leaning in on my community has been so helpful, and recognizing it as a mom that I just can't do it all. And that's, quite honestly, that's probably been the biggest struggle for me, is realizing that I have to lean on other people. I just can't do everything. And that's an ongoing struggle for me. But
So true.
Yeah.
And I like what you were saying about balance. Sometimes, I forget who said this, but like visually speaking, they were like, I don't like the word balance. Like you think balance, you think maybe a scale, and it's still.
Yeah.
It's sitting still. And she's like, when are we ever sitting still? So she's like, it's a juggle, and I prefer to think of it that way.
Yeah.
And when somebody's juggling, there's moving parts, but they're all moving together, and sometimes things hit the floor, and sometimes you have to pick the balls up and start over again. But I think visually, if you think of it like that, we're all just juggling the pieces. And some of us are juggling like bowling balls, and on an easy day, maybe it's tennis balls or maybe it's bowling pins.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I don't think that there will be a day where none of us have an influence or we don't have an influence, whether that's the, FedEx guy coming to your house, or it's an important meeting, or your husband's home late, or you're a single parent, any of it. Like, we all have these things in our lives that are influences. And I think that the trick is, if you want to call it a trick, is to figure out how to just be really mindful and present. Some days I'm super present. Other days I need to kind of go back to the 101 practices. But I think it's important to just have something that you can keep going back to and ground you.
My best friend used to always says that we give our best every day, but it doesn't look the same every day.
I agree.
And to even own that on a day that's not feeling glorious, but you did, like, to finish the day and say, that was my best today.
Yes.
And then tomorrow maybe I'll go to the grocery store, fold the laundry, and like mow the lawn, maybe. But if today it means like I finished a cup of coffee and did one email, you did your best. And when I think of balance, like, I think I'm okay with the word, because in my head it looks different, that it's just, what do I need today? And I'm going to do that. And then tomorrow, what do I need then? So that's my balance. Like,
and you're giving yourself grace constantly, going back to the point of grace. Like, that sounds like you're constantly doing that, and that's really cool.
And so, especially for you, starting a new endeavor where you're entering into something with so much unknown, but so much passion and drive to figure it out as you go. So, like Rachel even asking, what's our ideal week? I'm sure it changes, or
it does.
Typical.
Yeah.
It changes, but you're figuring out what you need, what you can say yes and no to.
Right.
And knowing that your family is most important in the midst of all that.
And even being able to call on my community at the end of the day and, text. Megan is a great example of this. I'll text Megan and be like, oh my gosh, I just yelled at my child and she didn't deserve that and I need to go apologize. And having a friend that can be like, girl, you're all right. It's okay. Tomorrow's going to be better. And just having someone that you can kind of fall back on and lift you up.
I feel like that's our boxer every other day, where Rachel will say something to me and I'm like, oh, you're telling me this because you need like someone to give you permission to say, go take a nap or go get coffee
I love that.
and leave your kids there. And sometimes we don't even know that we're asking for that permission, someone to say it's okay, and you can just breathe deeply after that.
I love that.
Yeah, and I love it when you're like, so I think I'm just having a slower morning, and I'm like, after what you told me yesterday, like, yes. Go take a nap.
Yes. The babies won't stop crying.
Yeah. Oh, you've had a week.
She's all right. I changed her on the floor of Target. A blowout. No one was around, but actually one cart did come by me and I just laughed because I was like, well, here I am. Like, go around.
Yeah.
Go around.
I wish I would have seen you. I would have been high-fiving you.
Oh, man. And I was just laughing. And my daughter was laying there. She was okay because whatever was upsetting her stomach came out. But it's it was just the day. Yeah. I mean,
I'm just proud that you went there with both of them. And I just love that you're doing it. Like,
that's a win right there.
They're just always screaming right now, but it's all a growth spurt. Every other day there's a growth spurt going on.
Hey, at least
in our lives
and being like, I don't know, maybe there's no one that's better than the other, but sometimes I can tolerate like 2-year-old just like screaming or being upset, because it, like, for me, I think Rowan, it ends quicker.
Yeah.
Compared to the 4-year-old complaining. I just can't handle the complaining. It drives me nuts.
All in all, this is why you need a minivan, because they have TVs in them, so it makes up for all the screaming. Yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry, Nora, your sister won't stop screaming, but
watch
here's
Elmo.
Yeah, Elmo. So anyway.
Thank God for Elmo.
Carmen, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we had jotted down here, I wanted to know what inspired you to bring Rebelle to this area, but I feel like you've shared that in so many ways.
Oh.
We've talked about how it's just so important to have community.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, my next question was, what are some of your personal, who are some of your inspirations, I guess, as far as maybe it's podcasts you listen to or female business owners or women that you look up to?
Yeah. You mean besides like my parents and stuff?
I mean, we can talk about your parents if you want.
Because my parents are awesome. So I definitely have, as an adult daughter, looking at you look at your parents so differently, and you realize like, oh, you guys have been activists like forever, and I just didn't know it. It just looked like a boring meeting to me, as a kid. But yeah, that's one. They're definitely influential in my life. But also, Oprah, yay.
That is who I thought of when you asked me.
Oprah?
I love Oprah.
Oh my gosh, I saw her. We can discuss
Stop.
it. Yeah, it was amazing.
You met Oprah?
No, I didn't. No.
It
was like I met her. I was like so close to her.
Oh,
Did you get a card?
Oh my gosh.
I remember that
bug.
episode. I was sad when the show stopped.
Yeah, me too.
I'm amazed that her network is Harpo. Her name's spelled backwards.
I know, it's amazing. She's a genius.
I thought it was like the
Oh, no. Well, her big corporation is Harpo, which is her name backwards.
Yeah.
Oprah, Harpo.
Didn't know anything.
So creative. Okay.
Yeah, she's amazing. So Brene Brown.
So creative.
Let me sing.
Just spell her name backwards.
Yeah.
Well, and her name was supposed to be Orpha, right? But they spelled it wrong on the birth certificate.
Oh.
Maybe I know a lot about Oprah.
Too. I feel like you and I could just do a whole show on Oprah.
I do remember every now and then, and my mom used to watch her. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so to come home and be like, "Oh,
Oprah's on."
Yeah.
I like Ellen. I watch the Ellen show a lot.
Yeah. She's the new Oprah. Yeah, I like Ellen too.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Anyway, we were talking about influences.
Listen, we can talk about Oprah all day long. Elizabeth Gilbert, but also I think it's important for women to have local folks that they live up to, local women that we can talk to. And so probably for me, that is Carol Emerson. She is local and she's amazing. She's an artist, teacher, therapist in this area. And she's just doing so much to help women just through living her life and just living really authentically. And I'm lucky to know her, and just I get to be a fly on the wall sometimes, and then just also get to talk to her about her life experiences and run things by her. So that's really important. Also, Donna Kreiser is highly influential. She's another woman who's local, and she's just doing the thing, these women just live their lives so beautifully, so authentically, unapologetically. And so for me to be able to look at that, it's really cool. My mom's in that mix too, but I already talked about her. She's so.
That just like sparks a thought in my head too, because there are so many people, I'm sure, in all of our lives that are influential, whether it be because they're a great mom or a very patient wife or a great businesswoman, to be able to tell those women that you appreciate them or like, thank you for doing what you're doing. I see you and it makes a difference in my life. I feel like sometimes we don't express that enough to people, even just someone who is like your neighbor and my neighbor mows the lawn. And I'm very impressed by that. And I've told her that. Like, good for you.
She does it, not her husband.
Oh, she does. I don't do it. And
I need to start doing it because it's so long. Oh. Our grass is like a foot high.
I mean, don't overextend yourself, because I'm not going to. But my point being how powerful it is to tell people that you appreciate them.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you're doing the same for someone else as well, being that influential person in their life.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. I think it is important to speak to that and to just tell them. Because how great does it feel when somebody says it to you? Mm-hmm. Like, wow, you're really awesome. And you think, oh man, that just made my day.
Oh, it does.
Well, that's why when I end the show, I know it's like kind of kitschy now, and tell everybody that's listening that they're amazing, but I honestly believe it, and it becomes so much a part of what we're doing is letting people know that you're doing amazing no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Like, there's value and worth to your life today.
Yeah. And I know you guys, like, there are so many amazing local businesses that are just killing it. I mean, you have Kristen on Sophie Stargazer. Like, what she's doing is so cool. Nicole, amazing. Like, these women are just making a difference. And it's really incredible to see that.
I even have a lot of friends right now going back to school as teachers. And I will be going back in a little bit, just still on maternity leave, but thinking about what the phase of life they're entering into with a new group of students and like the impact that they're going to make on families and kids in such a large group. It's like, you're not just putting up like a pretty poster on the wall and arranging desks. Like you're setting up a group of 20 children for success.
Teachers
it's like
a million things.
They're awesome.
Teachers are amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, yes, they are. Yes, I feel like I do a good job too. But I just think of all these great women I work with, and they're just doing it right.
And that's what it is. It's like these women that you look at. Okay, so obviously we look at the Oprahs, but then there are so many women just, you gals are doing it and killing it, and it's awesome, and it's just really cool to see that and just be like, okay, you guys are mini Oprahs.
Stop.
Is that a way to end the show? Just end it right there.
I can't. I have goosebumps. No joke.
But seriously,
I just feel like I can't.
Oh my God. Mom, did you hear what she said?
And you get a pen.
You can have one of my favorite clips. It was because it was a show with people who really needed cars, and it was like under their seat, right?
Really? It was under their seat.
Yes, and so it was like, look at watch.
No, it was a box with the key inside, and so you open it up, and they all had keys.
I have chills right now.
How do they know they all needed cars?
Because they like screened the audience, maybe, or people wrote in about it.
Like, I think that
I feel like some of them were like telling the stories of some of them.
Maybe.
Okay. She gave everybody a car.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if I can compete.
No, but my point is like there are Oprahs. Like we have one Oprah. We don't need any more. But we need us, right?
Yeah, I understand.
So there are all of these amazing women doing amazing things.
Well, that was such an honor. Thank you for saying that.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh. Well, who would you say are some of your influences, Christine? We've never really had this talk aside from Oprah.
You guys have never had this conversation?
No.
I love it.
This is like we talk about like favorite podcasts and things, but never as far as like influences.
I mean, I definitely come back around to my mom sometimes. We're very different, but now that I am a mom, I see like, oh, it was a hard job, and I was probably still am a difficult child just because I was strong-willed. But I love to be in the place now where I can see what she's done and say like, wow, that was really, really great the way you did things. And I know we all are going to do things similar and different from our parents, but it's cool to see that, like all that she did and impact. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Love you, Mom. Other influences in my life. I really like the women that I've met through our small group at our church. Not even women that are necessarily the leaders of the groups, but just the women that I've met sitting next to them. Even like Jessie Smoker we had on the show, Melissa Lehman we had on the show. I met them at my table.
Yeah, just moms that are doing something right.
Yes, and
that's cool.
Even just texting them on a day where they're like, "Oh, my kids are feeling crazy," and I'm like, "Oh, you too?" Like, oh, okay, it's not just me. But then hearing the way that they speak about it, and they say, "Tomorrow's a new day," or "I really struggled with being a mom today." Just that language to be able to express it, I really admire that, and I'm thankful for those women in my life because I need it. And I know I'm just like at the beginning of this whole journey. My girls are 2 and 3 months. So
you can box me.
I need to. I'm like, keep bringing them. Bring these moms into my life. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, those kind of, because I feel that's the stage I'm in. That's all I think about is mom things. How to make them stop screaming.
Yeah.
So thanks, Melissa and Jessie. Who are yours, Rachel?
I feel like that's so true, though. I like what you were saying along the lines of, like, kind of like moms that you look up to. Obviously, I mean, everyone's talking about their own mom. I love my own mom, too. We are just so different. Yeah. So different. But you mentioned moms, you mentioned teachers. And those are, I mean, let's think about the people we spend all this time with. When I look back, there's one teacher that I do remember, and she was very hard on me. And maybe that's what I needed, because, like, if I think of all my teachers, there's one, Ms. Kuipers, who I loved her, even though she was tough. Like, she was a writer. She's had a couple of published books, I want to say. And this was, like, 5th grade. I didn't know then that I was going to do communications or love to write, but she must have had some type of an impact, because she's one of the few that I, like, really remember, and just remember how much I liked her and respected her, even though she, like, sent me out to the hallway a few times. Oh Don't roll your eyes, Christine.
No, I got sent
naughty.
out.
I was that kid.
I got sent to the back of the room, and I moved myself back up.
Does that still happen in school? Like, do people get sent out of the classroom and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they just need to be in the hallway to learn.
Sometimes
it helps. I mean, even when Nora
they just need a space.
She comes home from daycare and I put her in a room sometimes because she obviously needed some quiet time. Yeah. So that's all it is.
You just need a breath.
A teacher moved me into the back of the room and he's like, I can't teach with you up here. And I was like, well, I can't learn back here. The radiator's too loud. So
How old were you?
8th grade. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I gave teachers a run for the money. I probably needed some more to like put me in my place. My mom would be just like, Christine, I can't believe you said that to your teachers. I'm like, well, I just was trying to explain how things work. Like, the radiator was really loud, Mom. That's amazing. Yeah, but they were also, I feel like, teachers who let me have my space and maybe step into my own. And obviously, even now, I know the way I like things.
Oh, that's funny. I don't remember why I got sent out into the hall. I just remember that she did. And
I was there.
I think she might have been scolding someone else, and like I was like caught snickering or something, and she was like,
"I don't laugh
when I'm." It was like just don't go. Yes. So I remember just sitting out there awkwardly, like, oh, look at all these nice paintings on the wall. So
I'm trying to make a little lemonade out of lemons here.
So that was 5th grade, but she had a lasting impact, and I really loved her as a teacher. And friend-wise, like mom-wise. I have a friend named Martha Stoltzfus, and she has 5 kids.
Martha.
And Martha has been,
great.
I hope she listens. Martha, you've been an inspiration to me because my husband and I, they have a beach house, a similar area that like my in-laws have a beach house. And so we have met up once or twice down at the shore. And something about meeting up with them at one time, seeing how they just juggled their 5 kids and life was just, they made it look so easy. Oh. I think that was what convinced my husband that we should have a 3rd one. Like, we got pregnant like a month later. Wow. And it's possible, like, yeah. I don't know. I think there was really something about the way they parent that like, I don't know, kind of changed what Kyle had been thinking about more kids. And I just feel like she makes life look simple, and she's such a good mom. Like, I feel like she has respectful kids. They're kind, they're nice, and I love that. And also Mara. Now that I have a boy, like Mara,
she's a great boy mom.
She's owner of More Space Organizing, has the kindest, like most polite boys I've probably ever met.
I'm getting together with her like next week. I can't wait to meet her.
Mara is just so fun.
She's so sweet to talk with.
I feel like she's so smart too. Like she just has so many great thoughts. Yes. But whatever she's doing with her boys, like I am always amazed at just how polite they are and like such little gentlemen. Like I heard something recently. They were saying how something along, it was like a parenting thing, and they said, we're not raising. Like, the goal of parenting is to raise young adults. Like, you are supposed to be preparing your kids for becoming adults. So they were talking about how, like, obviously, I don't know, you have to discipline, you have to whatever. But at the end of the day, like, there's nothing wrong with, like, giving them responsibilities. Like, you need to be training them to be able to be a successful adult one day. And I feel like she's doing that really well.
I agree.
Well, okay, so that's really cool because in the last week, this goes out to Mara. I haven't met you yet, but that's the second person who has told me how awesome you are. So she should be feeling really great.
I love life.
Aww. Well,
I know.
Guys. Hashtag me.
I know.
We're doing it right
that's
here.
Really cool.
Oh, man.
I will say, podcast inspiration, if you're looking for another good show to listen to, I love Jenna Kutcher's podcast because she's a creative like myself, and I always enjoy her. Her guests are great, but I also like her educational podcast where she shares, like just how she does it. Yeah, and it's great. Like I go back and sometimes I'll search for a topic or something because I'm like, how did she start this?
Yeah, she covers a lot.
What are her tips for that? And so, business wise, she's wonderful.
Have you guys read the book Slay Like a Mother yet?
No.
Oh,
I've heard of it.
My gosh, it's amazing. Catherine Winch. I think I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. Slay Like Mother. It is life-changing. It is a book that really speaks to motherhood and just getting rid of the self-doubt, and that there are days where it'll just feel like a poop show and you're just like, what's going on? And then, but not to get in your head about that. It's really good. You ladies would love it.
Yeah, we're going to create like a resource list here. So if you're listening, visit the website.
Our next solo beach trip, Rachel.
We'll just take books.
Plant the seed. Yeah, and reality TV.
Yes. We'll alternate.
Oh, perfect. I'm a big fan.
Did you watch, speaking of, did you watch any reality shows?
Yes, I certainly do.
Did you watch any of the Housewives?
Yeah.
Did anyone watch the premiere last night?
No, I'm going to go home. I got to actually go. I need to watch it.
DVR.
Yeah,
So
it's on my
good.
DVR. Don't tell me.
Okay, I won't tell you anything.
But Vicky's not on. She's a friend.
Yeah, it actually was weird that Vicky wasn't really,
Isn't that so funny? Like, we would know the lingo. She's just a friend. Like, she's not one of the ones holding an orange in the beginning.
Yes, if you're listening and you're not a Housewives fan, so there's like the
good
cast,
for you, though. If you're
there's the
It's good for you, for
the
sure.
full-time Housewives, they're the ones like holding the orange or whatever, like in the picture that you see on TV.
Real Housewives
And
of
then there's
Lancaster
like
over here.
the friends of the cast who like probably get paid. They might show up on the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Do they get paid?
I think they
Because
have.
remember, Luann was a friend, and then she came back. She made it
Yes.
I think
Camille-
Luann should just be a friend.
back. Luann should
Camille
just
on-
be a friend.
That's
Andy,
true,
are you listening?
Oh, what if he did? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Chills again.
Just the Countess. I can't. The cabaret. Too much cabaret.
Oh my gosh.
Life is not a cabaret.
Yes, it is not. Oh my goodness.
What was
Did I just quote Bethany?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yes. Bethany Frankel, we love you.
Oh my gosh, you're a powerhouse. Oh my gosh. This is a whole other show. So,
Yes, no, I was going to say, just on our Housewives tangent, Camille Grammer came back as a friend on Beverly Hills this season. She attended the reunion, and she had like a pretty good storyline.
She did.
I have a feeling she will be, I'm just making a prediction that she's going to be part of the cast.
She
next
had some
year.
things to say.
and they probably didn't know where it was going to go, but as the season was taping, I'm sure they were like, oh wow, there's a
I
big
mean, her
story
wedding
here.
was on it.
Is it
Yeah.
just like, it's probably just like a retryout. Like, let's see what you
Maybe.
got.
Yeah.
Throw me on there. Let's see what happens.
Hey, Housewives of Lancaster.
Once again,
If
Andy.
only you were bringing that to Lancaster.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Who knows? The sky's the limit. We dream big here.
Yes. Well, Andy Cohen, if you're listening.
Hit us up.
on that note, so remind us again where people can find or where people can sign up for the launch event in September.
So my Instagram is C_Hoffert, HOFFERT 1. And in my bio is the link. So the event is September 19th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at Luca Creative, which is on Fruitville Pike, not the restaurant. And the speaker panel is on building community and working through friendships and cultivating friendships. And Kelly Whalen is going to be on.
Another previous guest.
Yes,
Love her.
Natasha Raleigh and Crystal is amazing. Do you know Crystal Sosa? She's amazing too. All of these women are really cool. And so they're all going to come together and we're going to talk about community and what that means to them.
That's exciting.
Well,
I mean, I'm just excited
I know. That's so fun. And it's an honor to have you here, Carmen, a part of
thanks.
our Thrive community. It's neat just to see how our little podcast show has just like become something. So,
I love your podcast.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor.
It is. I can't. I mean,
excited.
you're still like your eyes are still glowing because she made the comment about Oprah.
I know. I think that we are friends forever now.
Yeah. This is, I like have to go do something. This
Can you be
afternoon.
Gail?
What? Gail?
Well, we should be Oprah and Gail.
So you're Oprah now.
You're like, did you just take it back? I'll be Gail. Gail's amazing. Look what just came out.
There's
Oh my gosh.
She
Are they
looks
just
so
like best
good.
friends?
Gail looks
They
great.
are. They are.
Okay.
I'll be Gail.
There's no romance. They're just friends.
Well, Stedman is her, right? Oprah's
Stedman, yeah, they've been together
significant other.
forever.
They're not married.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway.
I just don't know these things.
It's okay. You're probably busy reading like real articles about other things.
Like the Housewives.
The Housewives. Anyway, we've just really gone through all the topics here today. Well, Carmen, thank you so much for visiting us and sharing
you.
your heart for women and what you're doing here in Lancaster. It's exciting, and we can't wait to follow your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And,
ladies.
Moms, thank you for joining us, and I hope that you feel encouraged today and know from the bottom of our hearts we really believe that you are doing amazing.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much for listening today. You are a part of a growing community of moms, business owners, and women who are here to encourage and inspire. You can connect with Rachel at Rachel Klein Creative on Instagram or rachelkleincreative.com. To keep up with Christine and her latest events, follow her business journey on Instagram at Bellenberry Co. And if you want to be first to know about upcoming guests and giveaways, sign up for the Thrive Podcast email list today. Simply visit rachelkleincreative.com/the Thrive Podcast or follow at the Thrive Podcast on Instagram. Instagram. If you've enjoyed listening this week, or you've already added our show to your favorites playlist, we'd love for you to write us a review on iTunes. Your support and positive feedback allows us to keep encouraging moms and business owners each week.